It's going to be odd angles, but trying to get you guys all angled correctly. And I think what I forgot is that I usually have this lowered. Hello. Whoops. Plus it allows it to sit a little bit differently. We'll get it there eventually, guys. Hello. Oops. All right. I think I have it. I think I've got it now, kind of, sort of. It'll work. How are you? Today is Tuesday, and Tuesday is all about Krystic astrology and doing the celestial alignment, checking in on what's happening. I use True Sidereal for my astrology, which means that I work with the living sky as it is. If you're somebody that loves mainstream, traditional, seasonal astrology, some of the other names it goes by, then this is probably not the channel for you. But if you're interested in learning about and working with the living sky as it is, then stick around. I'm going to share it out, share the live out, because sharing is caring. And I also wouldn't ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do. I have to lead by example. Everything I teach is stuff that I have done myself. There she is. I was like, where did I leave off with? Hello. Stick around, say hi. Let's check in with the living sky and see what's coming up for us this week and how to best work with the energies of it. We had some big changes since last Tuesday and going into this week. Last Tuesday, we had a stellium in fire in the sign of Sagittarius, whereas right now we have a stellium in the earth sign Capricorn. There, I think that's where. How are you? There. Okay, I've shared on that channel. I'm going to share on this channel. All right. There we go. Okay. So, as I was saying, this channel is dedicated to True Sidereal and learning how to work with the living sky on Tuesdays. On Thursdays, we talk about Christ consciousness and walking the Krystic path. Krystic does not have anything to do with religion. I feel I still need to preface with that for those that are not, or just hear Christ or Christ and immediately think it's to do with Christianity or something like that. TT. So we have some exciting things coming up on Anshara'El and Sharia and Lorien. One thing that I'm doing is I went through this little time frame where I had been going live 5 days a week, and I was posting content a lot. And not only was I posting content a lot, I was posting that content to every single channel of mine. And I've decided not to do that anymore. I was only doing it because I had also, previous to that, went through a time where I wasn't working as much. Hi, Anon. I wasn't working as much because I was doing a couple of things before I made that big journey across the country. I was working full-time for my son and his partner. I mean, I was working full-time for her, but with him. I was working full-time for her to help her out. I was getting ready to move, so I was packing everything up and saying my goodbyes and spending time with people. So I wasn't doing a lot online, and I'd stopped doing lives completely. So then I moved into this space after I transitioned across the country, And I had to get my new habits set up. You get unpacked, you rest and recuperate from driving across the country, and all the things that you have to do and reestablish the new habits that you have in the new place that you're in. So I did that only because of those moments when I had kind of not had any presence at all. So I was really busy and active. But that's not the way that it's going to be. And I'm not going to be posting the same stuff on everything. So I have several channels. I'm on all social media. My Sharia and Lorien channel is going to be for transmissions and conversations. It's going to be my main channel. So if you're on this one here, which is not Sharia and Lorien, and probably, this one you might be, I'm not sure which channel you're on. You could be on Facebook. But whichever channel that you're on, the Sharia and Lorien one is the one where I'm going to be posting content daily. It's going to get most of the stuff that I post. The Anshara'El channel is going to have more long form education. It's going to be more in alignment with like the School of Light, which is what we originally started. The Anshara'El was the School of Light, and then it became the Pathway of Ascension, and it just changes, little changes. The School of Light's still there. It's just it's called Pathway of Ascension. So different things are going to be posted on different channels. The One Truth Sets You Free channel, that's where the Truth Will Set You Free podcast and Hidden Earth podcast and some other stuff is posted on that channel. So you can check out that channel as well. So we're going to talk about the living sky. We're going to talk about how to work with the energies of the living sky. If you're on any of these channels and you're watching and listening, please hit the like or comment, right? Engage with the content, okay? So let's check and see. What are we looking at today with our lovely sky? Itchy nose. And I pulled this off for the heater to have a sip. Okay. Welcome everybody to this wonderful space. This is our Tuesday, Tuesday, True Sidereal Astrology Live. In this space, we orient to the true celestial field and learn how to walk with the sky from one Tuesday to the next. How itchy nose. I think my hair touched my nose. It is. It's right there. Oh. It's just going to keep me itching. So this is not prediction. This is alignment. We learn the sky so we can live in harmony with time, the body, and the earth. So I like to start every live with a breath. So let's take a breath in together. Let the shoulders drop. Exhale. And just settle into the body. So let's look at our quick celestial roll call is what I like to call it. I write this down as my little header in my notes. So the true sidereal anchors for the 20th to the 26th of January. Right now, the sun is in Capricorn. It moved there on the 19th of January, so just after the full moon, which is why last week we were talking about how we were having a late stage full moon in Sagittarius, marking the second new moon that occurred in Sagittarius back to back. And that's because the first new moon in December ended up very early stage Sagittarius, and this new moon ended up late stage Sagittarius. And the sign just happens to be big enough to allow for that. It's rare. So we're now in Capricorn season because the very next day, the moon moved into Capricorn, and so did the sun. So we have both the moon and sun today, initially in Capricorn. They're going to move in, the moon's going to move into Aquarius a little bit later today. So this is, with Capricorn season, is the season of structure and reality. I like to call Capricorn big daddy energy, right? Whereas Cancer is mom energy. And they're both valuable energies and, you know, necessary to be worked with. But right now we're talking about Capricorn. So Capricorn is structured. It's an earth sign. It's very grounded. And I'll talk more about that once we get past our celestial roll call. So we have Mercury also entering into Capricorn on the 20th of January. This is a clean mind and clean decisions. Dad knows what he wants to do. That divine masculine and his energy and his true energy makes clean, clear decisions. They have a very clean mind. So this is the energy of that Capricorn in Mercury, because Mercury is the landscape of your thoughts, communication, technology, that space within you. It's your mental landscape versus the moon being your emotional landscape. Saturn moved into Pisces on the 15th, and it's going to be in Pisces for quite some time. And this is about spiritual maturity, reality testing, and lived integrity. Pisces is very spiritual. It's the final sign in the astrological wheel. This is where we culminate all of our lessons or experiences and knowledge, wisdom, right? It's a very wise sign. It's also very spiritual, mystical, dreamy. It's ruled by Neptune. So, you know, and that's the energy of Neptune as well as, you know, illusions and dreams. And so when Saturn gets into Pisces, Saturn is asking us to be responsible. Saturn is structure. Saturn governs Capricorn. Saturn is asking for that stability, that it's asking for, sorry, I went Saturn. Saturn is also governing law, responsibility, law, and karma. So I almost detoured back into Capricorn. Caught myself. So Saturn having that influence in the Pisces energy is affecting our spirituality, reality, and just living in integrity. So not being in that wishy-washy space. Mars enters Capricorn on the 22nd, which is disciplined action and long build momentum. This is how we move, is that Mars energy, right? So Mars moving through into Capricorn is going to ask us to be very stabilized, very structured, very disciplined. And what do we say, Carol? Discipline is devotion to your highest timeline, right? So it's a beautiful action. And this is something we're looking at stewardship. We're looking at legacy. That's the energy of Capricorn. So the movement that we're taking, the motion or the forward momentum is going to be that momentum into long building, legacy, stewardship, and so on. Very structured. The moon moves this week into Aquarius today, Pisces on the 22nd, and then Aries on the 25th. That's a pretty big exchange or transition of energy for our emotional landscape. So right now we're possibly, I have to check, give me a second. I'll tell you where the moon is right this minute. Where's my live app? Right there. I'm just going to give it a little freshen to make sure. So yeah, the moon's still in Capricorn. So it goes into, I want to see it in the sky, find it. We're going to go to the time and I'm going to advance it forward to see what time approximately. So yeah, it goes into Aquarius, zipping through around 7 p.m. anyway, my time, and that's mountain time. So that's why I don't put the times down anymore. It's just later, 7 p.m. for me. It's going to finally go into Aquarius. Then it on the 22nd goes into Pisces. And like I said, on the 25th, we are also in the waxing phase following the January 18th new moon, which building was beginning, but capacity is what's going to allow us to set the pace. And when I'm talking about capacity, we always have to go back to the nervous system. It's the nervous system that dictates how much capacity you can handle. That's capacity of clients, that's capacity of wealth, that's capacity within your life, right? The more that you're stepping into your alignment, and say that alignment is for me to have a fairly global company in ascension, that's going to require me having a very settled and balanced nervous system to hold the capacity of what is required for that. So this week is about one thing: truth made structural. Okay, so Sagittarius wanted to refine and get pointed in the direction of the truth so that when it was launching, it was headed in the right direction. Now we have Capricorn that's like, okay, let's get ready to build that then. Let's build from that truth. So we begin Capricorn season in a stellium, which changes the tone entirely. At the start of this week, right now, we have the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in Capricorn, plus the Moon. Even though it moves into Aquarius later, we've had this whole part of the day thus far where we have 4 planets simultaneously in Capricorn. Once the Moon transitions into Aquarius, we're still left with this stellium between the Sun, Mercury, and Venus until the 22nd, when we pick up also Mars into that stellium. So that's a lot of Capricorn energy, a lot of divine masculine energy. That's not the toxic masculinity. This isn't none of that stuff. This is, structure. This is all of that. So this is not a light or casual entry into Capricorn season. We're coming in with a whole lot of Capricorn energy, right? So this Capricorn stellium is pulling truth out of abstraction, and it places it directly into lived reality. Capricorn is, like I said, it's living the truth. This is about embodiment, and it's asking us to embody it in our emotional landscape right now with the Moon, in our mental landscape with Capricorn and Mercury, in our relationships with it in Venus, our desires, our attractions, our divine feminine energy. And then on the 22nd, that Mars energy coming in, and it's also our expression. It's the season of Capricorn. So this is where the sky stops entertaining what is vague. In Capricorn season, reality becomes the teacher. And this is not punishment. It's not limitation. It's just reality. So we're going to get a hard dose of reality in Capricorn season with this big stellium in there. With multiple bodies gathered in Capricorn, that message is amplified. That's what a stellium does. It amplifies the energy. So what cannot be structured, what cannot be sustained or lived is going to lose energy quickly. So we're going to stop doing those things. We just haven't got time for that. I only want to do the things that are real. I'm not playing with all of this. If you are identifying things as a show, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm turning the TV off. I don't want to watch this channel anymore. And that channel could very well be the reality that we're being fed, right? That's not actually necessarily the reality that you should be living. Out there's reality, and my dog's reality, right? There's certain things that are reality. So Capricorn is often misunderstood as grind or ambition. Okay. And we hear that a lot in mainstream astrology about how it is, it climbs that mountain. And I've said that it's all about achievement, right? Getting to the top of the mountain. But that's not chasing just anything. It's not just achievement for achievement's sake. That's not what Capricorn is. Capricorn is about integrity in form. It's embodying the truth that Sagittarius handed to it. And Capricorn says, okay, now that we've got this truth, we can live it. We can embody it. We can build structure from this. And that's how it becomes lived in the world. Because truth is just information until you actually live it, right? What difference does it make if we can say that the whole entire top is filled with the P word that as, like idio, if that's true and nothing's being done about it, is that the reality that we're, That's not integrity. It's definitely not integrity in form. So whatever is coherent will strengthen during Capricorn season. And it's going to ask us, what is sustainable? What is structurally true? What can be repeated without harm? And what can be lived without collapse? Okay. So Capricorn does not care how inspired you are. It cares whether or not your system can hold the life you're calling in. Capricorn's very grounded energy, very embodied, very structured, responsible, right? It is governed by Saturn. It exemplifies that divine masculine energy. So Capricorn is called the embodiment teacher. It reveals where you're overcommitting, where you're leaking energy, or where you're building on fantasy. Venus in Capricorn is very important here because Venus is going to show us what we value. It's going to show us how we relate. Sorry, I went to my sky thing and I forgot I needed to check my comments. I have a comment page over on the side here so I can see the comments from my one channel, and I hid it. I just realized that I did. Okay, so Capricorn does not care how inspired you are. It cares whether or not your system can hold the life you're calling in. It's that embodiment teacher. It reveals whether you are overcommitting, leaking energy, or building things on fantasy. Venus, which is looking at what we value, how we relate, and what we are willing to invest in. When it's in Capricorn, it's going to be asking us for maturity. So this transit is going to ask us what relationships are built on consistency rather than chemistry, what values are real enough, right, to require effort, because we're not wasting our time. We're not putting energy into things that aren't sustainable. That's not Capricorn. So it's going to be your values, your relationships, and where love has been confused with either accommodation or overgiving. So where are you, bending and in that over accommodation, right? Where are you abandoning yourself because of love, or where is it that you're overcommitting, or it's where the energies aren't equal within relationships? It'll be a big thing that's going to come up right now. So Venus in Capricorn is restoring dignity to love. It favors respect over intensity, loyalty over performance, and commitment over fantasy. So this is like where we get real, and we want to be doing that. Then as Mars enters Capricorn on the 22nd, action aligns with structure. So now we have that divine masculine forward momentum energy now being in that sign of Capricorn as well. So it's going to be asking us to be embodied in our truth, structured, disciplined, which is devotion to our highest frequency, our highest path, our highest timeline, whatever you want to put in there, our highest mission. So Mars here, it's not rushing energy, right? Capricorn is a very steady, mature energy. It's building from a very structured, solid foundation. So here we have commitment. We have where we're building, right? We're building from the ground up, like it's very structured, like I was saying. And there's follow through. Capricorn is committed to completing it. So when we have Mars back in there, that completes the Capricorn stellium pattern. Truth clarified by the sun, mind ordered by Mercury, values stabilized by Venus, and action disciplined by Mars. So when Capricorn energy is used cleanly, you're going to feel it as relief through simplification. And that's powerful, right? I love when I'm like lightening the stuff, like the load on my shoulders and freeing up more time. And that's exactly what I've been doing. It's not about giving less. It's about refining what I am giving so that I am not using a lot of time to provide like a whole bunch that I could do in a little bit, right? So it's just that refinement, simplification. It's clarity through fewer commitments, right? What are you committing to and why? Are you committing to it out of urgency, out of performance, out of obligation, right? Why is that commitment still there? Confidence, that's going to come from structure, not hype, right? If I keep showing up, I'm going to get more confidence, right? I didn't start out, picked up a camera and started recording content and was really comfortable on camera and doing all of that. I had to grow into that through my experiences. I had to have those uncomfortable moments. I had to delete a few recordings or just record it anyway and just be content with the fact that maybe it wasn't that great, or the quality wasn't that great, or whatever it was. You get more comfortable as you go. And it's sometimes by taking those little steps, right? Sometimes motivation it follows discipline, right? You have to take that. Sometimes you have to take that first step and then boom, you get motivated and you want to continue doing it. So this is the season when your life becomes your altar through consistency. So that's how we're building our altar, is consistently. Every day, those things that we continually do. It's not the one-offs, right? If you decided to eat healthy one week, that's not going to keep you healthy for your entire lifetime, right? It's consistent action. It's not taking one walk or taking one membership and that's all it's going to take, right? You're not going to run a marathon because you ran 500 meters. You're not going to turn around and run, 13 kilometers or 26 kilometers or anything of the sort, right? So Mercury in Capricorn, we're going to go over that a little bit to talk about Mercury in Capricorn, which is effective as of today, the 20th. So this is going to support us with, that was weird. I thought my dog just moved, but it must have been a bird flew by. So Mercury entered Capricorn on the 20th, and this is supporting precise thinking, fewer words with more weight, decisions that match reality, and planning that respects energy and time. Mercury in Capricorn is exposing mental noise. Hi, Xandrian, and hello, Warrior Crystals. How are you guys doing? So Mercury in Capricorn exposes mental noise. It shows where your thought loops are, where they're replacing action, and where talking has replaced building. So where are you all talk and no action is what this season's going to be asking. Where are you not taking movement, or, where are you not taking action on things that you've been saying you're going to take action on? That's going to come up now. So ask yourself, what conversations are unproductive? Me and a friend have been already talking about some of this stuff, right? What is the stuff that we should be conversing about, kind of thing? Where do I keep explaining what I have not yet embodied? Put your money where your mouth is. And what decisions have I avoided because I did not want to face the consequences of clarity? Those are some big questions. Mercury in Capricorn is not cold, it is sober. It is the mind returning to responsibility. And we need that. We need responsible minds out there right now. This is some good energy. We need it. As Mars is entering Capricorn, we're having action with discipline. Mars enters Capricorn on the 22nd, so 2 days from now, on Thursday, and we'll have a live on Thursday as well. Mars in Capricorn, this is a major shift in how action moves. Mars in Sagittarius is pure vision. It's heading in the direction of that arrow, right? And it's fire energy, so it's forward motion. With Mars in Capricorn, this is building a staircase. This is saying, like this is structure. This is long-term energy that we have with Capricorn. So this is strengthening that disciplined effort, the strategic pacing, the commitment to what is real, and the ability to build over time rather than out of urgency, where you're just operating from that space of lack. Maybe I got to get this out there really quick so that someone will buy it so I can make some money because I don't have enough, right? That energy is not the energy that Capricorn builds from. It's going to expose where we've been doing impulsive actions, or where our efforts have been scattered, or where we're trying to force outcomes without having any structure there. So it's going to bring those things up to the forefront for us. So Mars in Capricorn does not reward intensity. Mars in Capricorn is going to reward you when you're being coherent, when you are in aligning, when your money's matching, your walk is matching your talk. That's when Capricorn is going to reward you. So the question isn't how hard can I push? The question is, what can I build consistently without breaking myself? So it might be like, you could have been like me. I used to have 6 membership groups, but I ended up pausing 2 of them because it just was too much at this point in time. There wasn't the return on energy for that specific thing. So that got shifted. So there could be something like that you're sitting on as well. The moon, let's talk about our little moon. So it's moving into Aquarius later today, then Pisces, and then in Aries before we'll talk next Tuesday. So the 20th, we're going from that Capricorn structure into observing patterns, detaching from drama, good old Aquarius, and choosing principles over reaction. We need this energy. We desperately need this energy. Then on the 22nd, when Mars is moving into Capricorn, we also get the moon moving into Pisces. This is going to soften the energy. We are going to want to regulate our nervous system, listen inward. We want to be restoring that spiritual sensitivity without losing boundaries, right? That Capricorn energy is a very boundaried energy, a very structured energy. So we don't want to be losing the structure that we're getting from Capricorn, but we do want to soften a little bit. Aries on the 25th is going to ask us to initiate cleanly, right? We're now into let's go energy. And it'll ask us to take one aligned action and to move forward without proving, without feeling like whatever you're taking those steps in, that you need someone's approval or that you need to see something from the field that tells you that there's some kind of feedback saying you're doing okay. Because your feedback, you shouldn't be needing anything. You should be with your nervous system feeling stable and regulated so that that capacity is already there to hold what it is that you're trying to move forward to. So if you follow the moon's progression, this week becomes simple. See clearly, feel honestly, and act cleanly. That's the transition that we're going to go through with those 3 signs. Sorry, someone was trying to, hi, Kita. So how do we work with the energy of this week, right? How do we work with all of this energy? And in each one of them, I talked a little bit about how to work with them. I gave you some questions that you can ask, and I see you, my love. I say hello, but it's not showing me your name. Oh, wait. Give me a second. Hi, Simplify Furley. Aw, thank you. Sorry, sometimes I have to pause and acknowledge comments. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to work with the energy this week based on these transitions that we're experiencing. So Venus moved into Capricorn last week on the 17th. The sun moved into Capricorn on the 19th, following the new moon on the 18th in Sagittarius. We then had on the 20th, the moon moving into Aquarius, as well as Mercury moving into Capricorn. On the 22nd, Mercury did that today. Mars is going to move into Capricorn, and the moon's going to move into Pisces. And then on the 25th, the moon moves into Aries. So those are the transitions for this week. This week is supporting choosing fewer commitments. So look where you're committing to things for reasons that are not in alignment. Maybe something you committed to at one point was in alignment, and then you've sat with it now and you're like, yeah, you know what? I don't really feel like being a part of the PTA, or I really don't have the time to do these things. No, I can't help you move. I don't know, whatever it is that's coming up. This is also a perfect week for setting structures that reduce strain. So how can you restructure things? For me, I used to do lives and then I would do content every day, and I would do tons of pieces of content. But if I take some of the content from my lives and repurpose it, I save myself work. So you can find little tweaks that you can make that reduce so much work for me, like so much effort for me. Anytime that I want content, I have the 2 lives that I do each week minimum, in which I can extract content from. And I have so much stuff that I've built years and years and years that I could consult for more content as well if I ever needed it. Those are things that would simplify or would help just reduce the amount of output, right? With just tiny little tweaks. We're going to be aligning, it's a perfect time, to be aligning actions with real capacity. So where are you overdoing it, where you're feeling yourself overwhelmed or overburdened? You kind of feel like your nervous system is frazzled, or you feel a little chaotic. Maybe you've got, you're anxious, or you're feeling your anxiety rising, or your thoughts are really, really busy, right? That's not incapacity for you. That is something that's not at this time. That doesn't mean that it's something you're never going to be able to have capacity for. It doesn't even mean that you don't have capacity for it now. But with the current conditions of everything that you have going on, something is needing to give so that you do have the capacity to handle the things that you have going on. So I had to work on that, 222 on the time here. I had to work on that when I became a co-owner of Hugs for Homeless nonprofit. I had to make room in my life, in my day, in my capacity, so that I could actually, my brain just, so that I could handle the extra capacity of that company, right? If I've got myself in a position of doing lives 5 days a week, and I'm also posting, like, say, 5 different pieces of content weekly, where do I put hugs? Do I give up weekends? Do I give up a day? Like, do I never have a day off? Like, what is it that I do? And in doing that, am I overextending my nervous system? Am I creating an issue with capacity here? So that could be something that I needed to address. And that's what I have done by changing it to 2 lives per week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. By repurposing content, I freed up so much time. And that gives me the freedom for hugs. And I'm so relaxed and peaceful in my space, right? I'm not rushing around oh my God, I got all these things to do, right? I have books, like 19 books that are published, all this stuff. And I'm not like, there's no stress, because your nervous system gets to the capacity to handle it if you nurture it, if you work with it, right? The other thing that we're going to be doing, or that this week is supporting, is building foundations that you can repeat. So you're going to maybe figure out a way to do your work, or a system in your house that's just going to function for you. When I moved here, one of the things that I said was I was going to set it up so that everything had its place. And then if I put it in its place, I don't have to put it away. I set up right inside the house, there's a long table with 3 drawers in it. So the door that's close, like the drawer that's closest to the door, has the keys in it. Is that safe if someone broke into my house? Possibly. Isn't that what we were told in Ontario? Is basically just leave them there for them. Just let them take it, right? Maybe they'll come in, see the keys, go take the Jeep or the whatever and just leave, right? But no, it's just because everything has a place. I'm quite safe out here. They'd have a hard time. I have a gate. But anyway, not the point. We're building foundations that we can repeat. That is the energy of this. What the energy of this week is going to also do, though, is it's going to ask us to avoid over-compromising. It's going to ask us to avoid rushing into new obligations. It's going to ask us to stop mistaking pressure for guidance. I'm going to take a sip now because that one's going to land. Are you feeling pressured to do it? Do you feel like you have this urgency? Because we're not supposed to be doing it in urgency. And if we are functioning from that space of urgency, it more than likely is your ego telling you what to do, your ego driving the bus, because your oversoul is, or your higher self, whichever language you want to use, your oversoul is not pressuring you. Your oversoul comes across a little bit like Capricorn energy, like that energy, right? It's just steady, it's calm, it's, it's just says what it is. That's it. That's all, right? It's not going to make you feel confused or any of that. That's not your higher self. The other thing that Capricorn is this week is going to ask us to avoid is trying to build a new life without changing the structure underneath of it. I'm just going to let that one land too. I'm just going to ponder over here out my window for a little bit. I just look off while that lands. How many of us do that? How many of us try to build a new life without changing the structure underneath it? What do you think happens with the new life that you're building if you don't change the structure underneath of it? What do you think is going to happen? You're just going to keep repeating it, right? You're just going to keep the structures the whole new life is going to crumble because there was no structure, no foundation, no solid space that it was built upon, right? So that's the thing that we have to look at. A house built on sand will crumble. Absolutely. And that's not the energy of Capricorn. Capricorn does not want to be building on sand. Capricorn is very grounded, very structured, foundational, solid energy. Capricorn is patient. The earth is patient. So build accordingly. So this week begins Capricorn season in full. Next Tuesday, we're going to continue working with Capricorn structure and the moon's next movements, because I don't think there's any real movements next week, because we just had on the 17th, 20th, and 22nd, those three planets of Mars, Mercury, and Venus all transiting into Capricorn. So they won't move for a little bit yet. The sun just moved on the 19th, so it's not moving for a while yet. So we'll just be tracking the changes in the moon and how our emotional landscape, when in this Capricorn stellium of the sun, the sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, those four are being in our Capricorn stellium, which also combine with Pluto, which is in Capricorn in True Sidereal. You'll hear in mainstream astrology, they talk a lot about how it's Aquarius season, but it's actually not. It is, or for Pluto anyway. Pluto is still in Capricorn and will be until 2040, January 21st, 2040 at 8:17 a.m. my time. That is when that beautiful planet of Capricorn, or Pluto, sorry, moves into Aquarius. But the way that the actual planets and the energies align with True Sidereal, it actually makes sense when you read it that way. And we've covered that before. So in March, I'm going to be teaching True Sidereal course, which is called Krystic Astrology. And Krystic does not mean Christianity or anything to do with religion. Okay. So just wanted to make sure that I was very clear on that. Give me one second. I'm just going to search up. I've written down. It's actually in my Christ consciousness teaching. Probably next on the weekend, I'll talk about it. So Krystic refers to the eternal, organic, original, divine blueprint of creation sourced from Mother, Father, Source, Prime Creator, whatever you want to God, whatever terminology. Lorelei, they went on by. Never mind. They might be actually, I think sometimes it shows that they're on, and then I get excited thinking that they're actually on my live. Okay. So Krystic refers to that. It's untouched by distortion, inversion, artificial timelines, or false light constructs. So it is not a religion, but a living frequency of truth, coherence, and divine order that exists within the purest creation codes of Source. So to break down the word, Krystic comes from the eternal sound template of Christ, not Christ in the religious sense, representing the flame of divine truth, divine love, divine wisdom, and divine light. It is the pure, eternal life force architecture of Source, undivided, unreversed, and unaltered by artificial grids or fallen systems. The Christ, that's how it's supposed to be pronounced, but we say Christ because people wouldn't understand what I was saying. The Christ is the living law of one, the organic harmony between spirit, matter, energy, and consciousness. So a Krystic being, system, or teaching is sourced directly from the eternal source field. It's built upon the law of coherence and sovereignty. It's aligned with the freedom and ascension of all beings, never domination or hierarchy. False light systems, by contrast, often mimic truth but serve control agendas, siphoning energy, or promoting savior-based paradigms. That's not here. You're sovereign. You save yourself. So Krystic consciousness embodiment. To live Krystically means sovereign embodiment. You do not outsource your power or truth to external systems. Radical truthfulness, not bypassing or diluting reality in the name of love and light. My friends know I talk about how sometimes I think people think I'm, rigid or harsh or whatever, but it's radical truth. I don't know how to not dilute. I don't dilute things. Energetic integrity. Your field is aligned, sealed, and not leaking into distortion. What are your energetic practices like? What are your spiritual practices, right? If you claim to be a specific thing, are you living what you claim to be, right? And then service to organic ascension. You honor the planetary and cosmic mission of restoring the organic template, the original template of Earth. So the Christ flame, many who carry this remembrance are here to restore the Christ Sophia flame, the sacred union of divine feminine and divine masculine, to repair the Earth's grid systems from inverted overlays, and to lead others into organic embodiment, not bypassing, escaping, or submitting to false programming. Krystic living is living the expression of source, truth, unaltered by distortion. It is remembrance, sovereignty, and embodiment of divine law within. And that's what I teach on Thursdays. Or when I'm talking about Krystic, now you at least understand what I mean. All right, I'm going to head off. 2, 3, 4. Perfect time to get out the door to head off. I love you guys. Catch me on Thursday, the next one on Thursday, where we talk about Christ consciousness and living the Krystic pathway. At 1:44 p.m. Mountain Time, so whatever time you are, it'll be in that time frame, and I'll see you there. If you're looking for other stuff, do go check out. I have a course coming up next week on Tuesday. The course is called sorry, I have to pull it up here just so I can get all the information at the same time. So the course is called Why Money Stalls Even When You're Doing Everything Right. It is a 90-minute grounded session on money, safety, and the nervous system. So many people are doing the work. They are showing up consistently, and they still feel financial pressure, or there's inconsistencies, or it's a very slow money flow. And this session, it's for those this session is for those who are tired of blaming themselves or trying to fix their relationship with money. In this live session, we're going to explore why money often becomes linked to survival and urgency, how the nervous system affects financial flow, why slowing down can temporarily impact income, and how to relate to money without panic or self-pressure. So this is not a manifestation class or a healing container. There is no homework and no preparation required. You just come as you are, leave with more clarity and steadiness. So it's January 27th at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If it's 5 p.m. Mountain, then it's 4 p.m. Pacific. Just check out your time zone for the corresponding time for you. And it is available as a live, and you have access to a replay, and it's $33 Canadian, and you can get that at my site. Mwah! I love you. Go check that stuff out, and I will see you on Thursday when we continue our talk about Christ consciousness and the Krystic pathway. I love you guys. I love you. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see each other Thursday. Had to decline that before I can end. One at a time, guys. Bye, guys. Love you. Ooh, that one's really loud. I apologize. Oh, turn it down. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry for the StreamYard crew. Just hang on 1 second. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Love you. Have a beautiful day.